Since this past spring, I do not have people who were very close to me over the years for various reasons. These people were not only close dear friends of mine, but also helped me over the years when they could and as best as they could. Now that they're not part of my life anymore, I do miss them very much. I miss the quick message to say, our little guy says it all. I also miss the long talks every day. Yup, that's the proper answer. And I also miss being the one to show up for the holidays when no one else did, etc. Since mid to the end of last winter, I've been unable to keep enough gas in my vehicle to keep warm, whether it be by the engine or the auxiliary heater. Throughout this past summer, I've been driving on fumes, trying not to be in one location, one spot, for too long, leaving me stranded many times in one spot. We've all felt the insane inflation of fuel and even food. Imagine only having $10 and trying to decide if it goes for fuel, food, or both, especially with these insane prices. If you've been there, you know the anguish. This past summer, I've been driving on fumes. Trying to find employment in today's employment environment is next to impossible. This is compounded with, for example, 2 wrongful convictions and health issues increasing. Applying for disability is proven to be more difficult, extremely difficult than anticipated, especially when there's discrepancies between doctors, which doesn't even make sense. In fact, it's very disturbing. Over the years, I've gone up to 2 weeks without eating any food. Now, with my age and health deteriorating, it's even difficult to go days without food. I can count on both hands how many times I've eaten in the past 2 months. There are times that I eat food for the trash, and I become very ill from that. Sometimes people bring me food from home, their old food, which also makes me very ill. The words, "Be thankful for what you have, and something is better than nothing," painfully ring in my ear. I have shared how over the years people have even denied me water, of all things. One person I recall saying to me, pointing at my vehicle, "If I can afford a vehicle like this, then I can afford to buy water just like everyone else." I've also been told I am the best dressed homeless guy they have ever seen. The vehicle that I have is what I had when my life went sideways, and I do my best to maintain my appearance as best as I can to salvage whatever little dignity that I have left. People ease their conscience by saying that, for example, there are government programs to help people for them to fall back onto, diverting the responsibility of helping someone else. But these people will help those who don't need help, such as millionaires or people who don't deserve help because they've done nothing. What people do not realize is that these so-called government programs are not what they think they are, and there's not many of them. Because of this, these so-called programs are not an option. Winter will soon be here, and I barely got through last winter. I've come to realize and accept I will not be able to survive this coming winter because I barely scraped by this past summer. I'm not sure what to do. All this because I found myself involved with trying to help these women who are being trafficked and abused sexually, and the police, judicial, and political corruption that followed. I have regrets. I've been suffering in silence for over a decade. If I survive this winter, is to be seen.